What we're going to do now is the importation of the data from our CSV file that we've created into File. Now, in order for this exercise to be as clear as possible, in my accounts, I actually don't have any information whatsoever. It's a completely blank file. And in fact, if you're doing this, a blank file is often very useful. I'm thinking in terms of you're trying to upload your information for the whole year for the accountant or bookkeeper. We'll talk about this a little later in the concluding chapter. So I've got no information in my file, and all I'm now going to do is do an importation of the information. So to do that is relatively straightforward. You go File, you do an Import Data, you go to Disbursements and Spend Money. So this is the field we're trying to work with. So let's select that. You will get your standard importation codes here. Be careful to make sure you're using comma separated. The rest should automatically default correctly. But this is important that it's consistent. What happens then, we'll select our CSV file, which in our case is ABC Bank. Now, what you will then see is this area here. This is where you match the file. The import fields, these items here, is what File has detected when it's read the top line of the CSV file. Over here, you're looking at the actual headings that File has built within its own software. So we need to match the ones we're dealing with. We need to match the check account with the check account, so that comes up in here. We need to match the date with the date, that'll come up there, and so on. Now do this very carefully. We just have to drag this down a little bit, because you don't want any muck-ups here, because you will get huge problems if you do in terms of bringing the information into the wrong area. And we'll just finish this off. Now this raises a couple of questions. It's sometimes good practice when you're doing this sort of thing to take a backup of your File file so that if you muck it up, you can restart. I'll give you an example of what I mean. Now just quickly check these off. They all look good. Let's say you upload 1,000 transactions into File. It's going to be difficult if you've made a boo-boo to get them all out again by trying to delete them one at a time. Before you do the import, do a backup of your File file. In case you muck it up, you can just get rid of the new file and go back to the old one. Alright, we're now ready and we're going to hit our import function. Now notice File will give you this report, and it looks bad when you first see this. Oh, it's saying we've got warnings and errors. In my case here, the errors warning it's not affecting the data at all. But there are on the File website there is some guidance about what these errors mean. If you get them, it's causing you problems. That's not part of what we're trying to achieve in this particular series of presentations, so I'll ignore that for now. Now, if we now go into our File file and we do a profit and loss for the period covering where we've entered information, and lo and behold, you have all your information in the file. Now, we've only got payments, of course, because that's all we imported was the payments, but the information is all in there. We've got the detail. Now we are missing check numbers and things like that because we didn't have that. Technically you could have put that in, but again this is a limit. Now in the next chapter I'm going to deal with some of the issues surrounding the purposes behind all this, but I'm hoping what this is showing you that with a little bit of work, and it hasn't taken that long, you can import a lot of information. Let's just have a look at our bank account. The beauty of this also is you don't have to reconcile the bank, because by definition the information is coming straight from the bank in the first place. But review your information. Now clearly the bank isn't correct at 12,000 because all it's doing is picking up the information that relates to the expense side of things. But nevertheless, it's still there. Let's just have a look at all that information in the account. Just bring that up for a bit of review. There's all the transactions. It's all about saving time, and done carefully this can save an awful lot of time. And as I've mentioned, it takes a little bit of practice at first. You've got the information there on how to do it, but it's critical when doing these sort of things that the agenda is time saving and accuracy.